I was trying to run too there, to be honest. I was trying to make sure. I didn't realise I hit it that well, but yeah, you know, when you're in the 90s, you start thinking a bit ahead of yourself, and you know, after I nicked that ball and got put down, you know, it sort of put me back in my box a little bit and started watching the ball a bit harder. So yeah, look, it's a great feeling. I can't really explain it still, but yeah, look, I'm over the moon.
It means a lot, I would think, to not just you, but to the England team. Been under the cosh for perhaps some self-imposed reasons, but obviously cricketing reasons as well. We've just talked about the fact that in Brisbane and Adelaide, an Aussie centurion has swung the match. So this was important.
It was, yeah. We've made the headlines for the wrong things, and the only way to sort of put those things to bed is to win games of cricket. And you know, we're in a position now where we've sort of got a one foot in the door, and we need to capitalise on that tomorrow. You know, the other games we did lose and we lost comprehensively, but there were times in the games where we were on top, and you know, Australia put their foot down in those crucial moments, and we weren't good enough in those moments. So hopefully in this game we can make sure we capitalise on the moments that we're on top.
And when you first went out there today, the Aussies gave you a barrage of bounces, and then all of a sudden, 4 wickets down, you started to take on the pull shot, the hook shot. Was that a trigger in your own mind to try and put more pressure on the Aussie bowlers?
A little bit. I think, you know, I play the short ball best when I look to play it. You know, as soon as you sort of just look to duck and defend, you sort of get yourself in a bad position. So that's my theory in it. So I decided to sort of look to play it as it gets me in a better position, and then I had a couple of flaps here and there. And you know,
well, the wagon wheel's pretty comprehensive. You've been round the ground.
Yeah, look, I'd much rather face that than face someone bowling 78 miles per hour on a green seamer. So,
don't give all you say, Ricky Ponting.
Probably got the spine that can be. Careful.
So, well, I'm not sure we're going to get any green seamers out here,
No,
but no, look, it was a good wicket to bat on. I still think there's a lot of runs in that wicket if whoever gets in makes sure they get in. You know, it's not as quick as I thought it was going to be. It's got good carry and it's very true. So. You know, there's definitely runs to be had, and we're going to have to bowl well to bowl them out in when they get their chance.
And just about the wicket, you spent a long time out there today. Did you notice the cracks changing at all through the course of the day?
They got a little bit wider, but nothing significantly that sort of stood out that you can sort of go, oh, this is going to make a difference. You know, maybe by day 3 or day 4 they'll widen a bit, but you know, and some of them are a little bit wide. So yeah, there was nothing really that stood out.
I was impressed with the way everybody that came in seemed to try and manoeuvre the off-spinner around, ones and twos. It seemed to me, watching, that there'd been a team talk about not letting him tie you all down. That doesn't mean slogging fours, but pushing ones and keep the score ticking. Was that right? Because you played him very well.
Yeah, it definitely helps when he's not turning and bouncing square. So you know, look, I think from the second game onwards, we had a sort of game plan where we looked to put him under pressure and be a bit more proactive.
Yes.
As you said, it wasn't about running down, hitting for 6 and trying to hit boundaries of every ball, but it was to rotate him, and especially when we have the right and left hander in, to make sure we get 2 or 3 singles and over, and then make him bowl the bad balls. So
your footwork was excellent. You just went down and just caressed him, didn't you? Not just bashing him, just went down, and so he's not quite sure when you're coming, which ball you're coming.
Yeah, it's you could sort of see him second guessing a bit. He bowled me a few cut balls towards the later end of the day when he thought I was coming down a bit. So you know, from my point of view, that was nice to sort of see that using my feet sort of put him under a bit more pressure, which is what you want. You have to find a way to put the bowlers under pressure.
Played super. Well,
you don't know how rare that is, by the way. Swanee?
David, moving on, tomorrow is a huge day, obviously. What have you got your sights on now? Obviously, Johnny 200 and then 400 or 500?
Yeah, well, from this start with 6 wickets left, you want to put as much pressure in and score as many runs as you can. I think that first hour was crucial. If you give them a sniff in that first spell with Stark and Hazelwood while the ball's still new, then you know, we're going to be on the back foot. So you know, I think that first hour is extremely crucial, that we get through that with that same positive intent that we had to score runs and get that scoreboard moving and put us in a good position.
And just tell us, as you walked up the stairs, you gave someone a kiss. Who was that?
Yeah, my mum and dad flew over, so probably made it more emotional. So so they were in the crowd, and the missus and everyone else was there. So yeah, just emotional time.
Fantastic. You can have 20 minutes with them and then get to bed. Well done, mate. Well done. The curfew's on. Thank you very much, David. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Played well, eh?
Oh, magnificent. You know, I think that moment where England were 4 wickets down, you know, I think we all got a sense from around the ground the Australians were bowling with hostility. It was noisy. You know, they seemed to be appealing every other ball. And I just thought that decision that he made, thought, you know what, I've got to take a few of these on. I can't just kind of duck and weave. I can't just get hit. We've just seen Stoneman get one on the head. We've seen Stoneman get kind of caught in front of his armpit, a couple of loopers, and he thought, I've got to try and take a risk. And I think at this level, there's sometimes that you just have to tell yourself that the risks are worth taking. just now and again you go, I've got to take something on here. And I thought his decision to do that today just changed the course of the game.
Yeah, the point that stood out for me about him talking about playing the short ball is that he plays it better when he looks to play it. And if you look at Mark Stoneman through his innings here today, he didn't look to play it at all, and that's why he's getting so tucked up. When you're looking to hit the ball, you're a lot lighter on your feet, you're agile, you're looking to hit or get out of the way. But I thought his intent today through his innings was outstanding.
Well, Johnny played well too.
I was going to say, yeah.
Secondly, I know the guy's got 100, he's the number one today, but Johnny played really well.
Yeah.
And for all of us who thought that Johnny should be batting 6, when we know he's not here, ought to be here, Ben Stokes, Johnny will be 7. When Stokes is not here, I think we all think this is ridiculous, putting him down with the tail end. He's a proper batsman. This guy was one of the great players. He saw Johnny play Brisbane and said it straight away, he's the second best player in the team. And he's an Aussie.
Yeah, boys.
Now unbroken, so they found one all right, and it's really important now that, as we keep hearing, that first hour tomorrow morning is going to be vital. But at 4 for 305, they've got to be looking at a 500 total at least from here.
And all of that, for all of those folks at home that were sound asleep at the time, after a pretty bad start, actually. Again, Alistair Cook tried to move his feet, but eventually got trapped.
Well, just look how far back he is on the crease to this length of delivery. It's a full ball, and he's almost standing on the stumps. It doesn't do a great deal. 92 miles an hour, so it's the pace that does for Alistair Cook. You just watch his bat here. He's down late. I've got a funny feeling he's waiting for the short ball. Just put square leg back on the boundary. And you just look his bat there. He's so late to come down to. All right, it's 92 miles an hour, but I've got a funny feeling that he was thinking the short ball was just about to come.
So not a series to remember thus far on his 150th Test match as well, 148 in a row. We made a big deal rightly of it. Hasn't gone to plan so far from Alistair's point of view. James Vince got in, played quite nicely actually, Ricky, for a spell.
Yeah, 66-run partnership again, and as we saw just before the lunch break when all the momentum was in England's favour, we talked about it in commentary. It looked like he'd just been fighting himself outside that off stump all day. He was short with his footwork. You could see that he wanted to punch that through the offside. Just got a little feather on one, and once again, unfortunate for Vince, caught behind the wicket, which I think is 7 of his last 8 or 8 of his last 9.
Can you fix that? Is that a technical flaw that you can address, Jeffrey, with coaching or in your own mind?
It's in his head. You see there in my view, watching that, he's got caught in two minds. He's going to drive it, and then he isn't totally committed. He's got the length wrong. He's trying to stop himself. But Ricky made the point before I was on, right early in the morning. With a faster, bouncier pitch, you've got to make your decisions quicker because it's hurrying on to you quicker. And once you have to second-guess yourself or try and change your mind, not against 90 miles an hour, you've had it, you're out, you're gone. And then he changed his mind and got stuck.
Skipper, we always expect, perhaps at times too much. He's had a lot on his plate of late, Swanee, but he won't be pleased with this dismissal.
Well, it is unlucky. I talked to Borney on air and I said, how unlucky is that? At Perth, I remember Ricky Ponting was getting caught down the leg side against us here. And we said afterwards, like, is this a way of getting out at Perth? Is it unlucky or not? Borney's convinced me that it is, but he was looking great. He really was, and he had the bit between his teeth, and so it was a surprise when he got out.
You just see that ball going down the leg side of his bat, and you think, thank you very much, don't you? And his head's gone over a little bit, I guess, but that's unfortunate.
It's strangled. It just is. We've all had one. It's just a couple, maybe. Well, you've come back, either.
I said in there at the time, that's probably the worst ball that comes to bowl in the session. He hadn't bowled anything down the leg side. He bowls one down there and gets the wicket. So.
Ricky,
well, there is numbers on the screen.
They don't teach him how to bat at Liverpool.
Oh, steady now. Steady. We've had a good day. Let's not spoil it. Let's not spoil it. There he is. There's his scores. Again... Obviously, he's got the 2 half centuries. We've talked about the conversion rate. He's got in today, hasn't he?
Well, you look at England's score, 305 for 4.
Yeah.
Failure for Alistair Cook, 7, 20 for Joe Root. So you have to look at it and think, without the senior, core of the batting unit, the unit that we keep talking about that have to arrive, England want to get the 450 plus. Well, they've done it without them today.
True. Good point. Maybe
we've had a good day.
Yeah.
Let's not spoil it with any negative. We've had a really good day.
Right.
Could have gone the other way. Spoils it with it.
No, I tell you the truth. When we play badly, I mean, there won hardly a session in 9 days. Today has been our day. We've played well.
Yeah, a bit of everything from Mark Stoneman, wasn't there? Again, gutsy. Stroke playing innings.
I was impressed with him more than anything for how he started. He looks the senior partner again when he opens with Alistair Cook. He looks like he's played 150 tests at the minute. It was a very positive start. He got some poor balls early on, but he capitalised on them. Driving down the ground was a feature, and he really got off to a flyer. This was all in the first session before lunch. And it was only later on, brought up his 50 really well. It was only just after getting 50, he was dropped this absolute clanger at first slip.
Yeah.
Mitchell Marsh's first touch of the ball back in the Test team. And then that absolutely thumped into his helmet. And the way he was a bit at sea after this, but this was off the hand of the very next ball. Great effort of a chance, but he stood there and he took it, and he didn't back down. But he was just, in the end, that is an absolute snorter.
Well, it is, and of course, there's been much discussion. We talked about it at tea for those that were awake at the time about the fact that Aleem Dar wants the referrals made from a not-out decision on the pitch. Aleem Dar looks at the snick. He saw that there's a snick as the ball passes the bat or the gloves.
Yeah, but Matt, from that angle, you don't know whether that's come from the top hand, the right hand, which is on the bat, or the bottom hand, which is off the bat, which wouldn't have been out.
Yeah.
And this is where the confusion came. This is why we saw Joe Root and Paul Collingwood saying, what's going on? You know, it wasn't until, what, 4 minutes after?
Joe's unhappy. They made him wait at the rope. And then we eventually saw this, which you all felt was conclusive.
Well, I think that's conclusive. I think that hits that right hand. But Aleem Dar made his decision having not seen that.
Yeah.
And that is the problem, that Aleem Dar made the decision. He overturned the on-field decision, which was not out. And the evidence that Aleem Dar got, I don't think was conclusive to overturn. But once you see that which came after, you'd have to say that the right decision in the end was made, which was out.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, he guessed it. He made a decision without the right camera angles to back it up. And luckily for him, it went his way in the end, and the right decision was made.
So we got lucky with the decision.
Well, the art of a third umpire is not to guess.
No. Otherwise, what happens? The guys on the field can guess.
Well, it's got to be conclusive.
Exactly.
Can't they? Jeffrey, do you have concerns about that?
The laws of the game say in the opinion of the umpire, and whatever we think it might be right or wrong, it is in the opinion of that umpire. And in the end, let's be honest, he got it right. He might have guessed, but he got it right, so it's good for the game that he got the right decision.
Swanee?
I'm still not 100%. I've heard from the England cap that the batsman thinks it hit his grill. I thought it hit his grill, and I don't think that proves conclusively it hit his glove. So...
Well, it'll still be out tomorrow morning's paper.
Maybe because I'm so English, I want to see it from an English point of view.
Yeah, OK. Let's get an Aussie perspective on the day. Tim Payne, the wicketkeeper, is with Ali Mitchell.
Well, at 131 for 4, it looked like it could have well have been Australia's day, but partnership Tim Payne seemed to turn things on its head.
Yeah, it did. They played really well. Obviously, the wicket's really good, so we can take some confidence out of that. But, yeah, I thought they both played really well. We probably let ourselves down with our catching a little bit, but credit to England, they had a good day.
I know Steve Smith said at the toss that he would have liked to have had first chance to bat as well, but there was actually a lot more in the pitch, possibly bounce-wise, than any of you were expecting.
Oh, yeah, there's a bit more pace than there has been this summer for Shield cricket, but there wasn't a hell of a lot sideways and not a hell of a lot of swing, so it's a good batting wicket. As I said, we would have liked to have held a few more catches, but yeah, those two played really well.
You held a few yourself. Have you ever had to be quite so athletic behind the stumps?
Yeah, I had a bit of work to do today, but that's probably, again, just a sign that we probably didn't quite hit our lengths today if I'm diving around. But, yeah, look, we're confident tomorrow if we can come and take 2 quick wickets. We've seen what we can do to their bottom 4 in the first 2 tests, so we can turn this game really quickly.
Malan and Stoneman in particular really had to come through a very hostile spell from Josh Hazlewood. Have you seen him bowl with much more hostility than that?
No, I haven't. He's been, I suppose, renowned for his accuracy and his bounce, but I thought his pace in the last 2 test matches in particular has been really good, and when he's bowling like that, he's hard to play, and that spell, particularly to Stoneman, was as good as you'll see.
That Stoneman wicket, it seemed as if on the evidence that the decision was overturned on was not particularly convincing at the time, but actually you guys all went for the review pretty instantly.
Yeah, straight away we thought it was out without doubt, and from what I don't know, the replay I saw looked like it hit his glove, his top glove, so yeah, we were pretty comfortable that was out.
What sort of score will you start to worry about given this pitch, given the total that England are already on, and an unbroken partnership going into tomorrow?
Yeah, I haven't thought too much about it, to be honest. I think